Hi everyone, Dave here. Hope you're having a decent day so far. It's pretty clear from a lot of my content that I'm quite critical of the way society's heading at the moment. That is my message at the moment and what I'm most passionate about. Even though it's not what I want to do, it's something that I feel like I need to do. But it's only fair because ultimately society is made up of individuals, and I am one of those individuals. And I'm one of those individuals bringing this quite what many people look upon as controversial messaging. Then it's only fair that I critique myself in the same way, right? Now, how I'm going to do this is I did a Facebook post the other day all around personal values and how important they are. First of all, to recognise and define, and then even more importantly, to try to live your life in congruence with. So to recognise and define the values is difficult enough. To actually live your life according to them is very difficult. So I'm going to say right at the outset, it's not the values that I've identified. Some, yeah, I'm pretty well aligned with, but a lot of them I'm totally not, which makes me a hypocrite and makes me certainly not the bringer of, you know, the bearer of what is right, and that is definitely not what I'd ever want to do. You know, I could be wrong with everything I say. I really could be. I think I'm right, which is why I'm bringing this content. But it's important to for me to examine exactly what it is I'm representing at the moment, and whether those values that I've identified, whether I'm in tune with them or not. Because if I'm not, then I'm not doing myself justice and the world that I'm trying to positively impact justice. Hope that makes sense. So I'm trying to come at this from a point of view of you know, humility, because to simply just criticize the external world without some element of introspection and self-awareness would be very remiss and very arrogant. And hopefully I don't think I'm an arrogant person. So anyway, right, so I just wanted to say as well, to mention someone, Rob Sewell. Rob, I don't know whether I'll tag you into this video, but I don't know whether you'll see it or not, but I just wanted to say thanks so much for all of the help that you've given me over the last year or so. I think our chats have helped me immensely, and you've helped me break through some fears. You've helped me break through one absolutely massive fear, which is the fear of being authentic. So I might not know where I'm headed still at the moment, but in terms of embracing and pushing through fears, which is so important, obviously the fear of authenticity was a big one for me, and in these last few weeks I've smashed through it, talking through topics that I know will divide opinion, but that are very, very important to me. And you know, getting to know yourself, I think is embracing the, you know, that genuineness and authenticity, which I'm starting to do. So I just wanted to say thanks, Rob, for, you know, everything you've done for me. I really do. And this exercise of defining values was something that was the template was set out by Rob, and I did it first of all a few months ago, and then just a few days ago I reanalyzed what I'd written, reanalyzed the beliefs that I had about myself at the time, and I have made some changes to who I think I am, i.e. what are my values, which just shows the importance of constant introspection, because we evolve all the time. So yeah, thanks again, Rob. And like I say, you know, if I wouldn't have been able to do this without your guidance. Okay, let's have a sip of coffee. So what I've done is gone through and identified my top 10 values. And a value can be, what is a value? So a value is effectively is a guiding principle by which we live our lives. And I think you probably can put people into three categories. There are those who wouldn't know what this means. They would probably never considered identifying a personal value. And I was one of those people until recently. I did hear people talking about values and just didn't know what it meant. Then you've got the individuals, and I probably fall into this category, who are aware of the importance of identifying personal values in order to be able to live from a place of authenticity. And then you've got the people who do that, but also then go on to really, really become fully aligned with those values and really develop that spiritual kind of element to living, which I'm nowhere near there yet. I would include somebody like Rob in that category. So this is an exercise in, hopefully humility, self-awareness, which is one of my values, self-awareness, and just kind of a progress check, I guess. It's important that I do this. Just spilt my coffee. Never mind. All right then, so my top 10 values, starting with, and what I've done is I've gone through them all and I've marked myself out of 10 according to how closely in tune I am to those values from my own perspective. And like I say, the scores that I've given myself have changed from when I first did this exercise a few months ago. Also, one of the actual values themselves has changed. I had one of those values as respect. Obviously, I believe respect is very important, but if I'm going to narrow it down to top 10, I've replaced respect with perspective. Okay, so the first value is gratitude, and what I've written is I have abundance, love and wonder in my life, and I choose to give thanks for this every day. And I've given myself a 5 out of 10 for that, for gratitude. And this is the spiritual element that I'm talking about, really, is I think a lot of us can get caught up in what we want out of life, or life will be better when this happens, life will be better when this person stops doing this to me, life will be better when I have this car, when I've got this job promotion, etc, etc, etc. Whether you really know what you want or you don't, it's probably part of the human condition to always want more. And it is so essential to show gratitude for what we already have and practice that gratitude, every single day, which I need to do more of, which is why I've given myself a 5 out of 10. And it is something I'm really, really going to focus on now in the next few months, is practicing that gratitude for the amazing people, essentially. I think gratitude is primarily about giving thanks to the amazing people that we have in our lives. So my, amazing girlfriend Sarah, and my amazing family and friends as well. So, and something else, sometimes that if you really get deep into it, I think you can forget what great things have already happened. I suffered with really, really bad neck and back pain for best part of 20 years. And since leaving my desk job, where I was sat in front of a computer for the best part of 40 hours a week, over a year ago now, I'd say the pain has improved by maybe about 3/4, 75%. That's something right there to give thanks for. There's things to give thanks for everywhere we look, I think, in life, and it's important for me to remember that. So 5 out of 10. Self-awareness, I've given the next 3 scores, I've given myself high score, 3 values, given myself high scores for, but we'll come to the low scoring ones as well. Self-awareness, I know that only in being introspective, applying perspective, and trusting my intuition will I learn, grow, and solve life's challenges, of which there are many, as there are for all of us. And self-awareness is, that's what I'm trying to do with this video, really, because like I say, it's about what is self-awareness. I think it's about having an opinion, but being able to justify it to one, in one degree. I think it's also primarily about who we are and how we interact with the world and society as a whole and other individuals, and how our behaviours affect other people, and recognising that as well, and also being comfortable with it's doing introspective exercises like identifying values, like meditating, and looking looking within and looking inward for the answer to life's challenges rather than outwardly. So self-awareness, I think I've always been a self-aware person, and I think I have always been happy to, not happy, but I've always been comfortable with admitting mistakes, admitting failures, acknowledging my weak points, and I think that's all part of, as well as, you know, acknowledging the positive things, that's all part of what being self-aware is. It's introspection, essentially. Open-mindedness. I actually gave myself a 10 for open-mindedness, but I can't give myself a 10 because that means I'm perfect. So that's ridiculous. So let's put it as a 9 again, that one. Open-mindedness. I understand that in being open to influence from all sources and directions, I will truly expand my horizons, challenge my beliefs, and become a better person. Now, this is something, open-mindedness, that I do think is a problem in the world as a whole. And this video isn't about the world and isn't about society, it's about me and whether I'm in tune with my values. I have always been open-mindedness. I recognise the importance of being open to inspiration from all sources, from speaking to anybody, because people from all walks of life and from all backgrounds can provide value to you and can change your perspective by what they say. From associating with all those different people, from reading different books, internet websites, newspapers, regardless of, say, political opinion, for example. It helps to give you balance in how you view the world, I think, let alone giving you some ammunition if you do get into some debates as well, to be honest with you. I've also done a lot of travelling, I've done a fair bit amount of reading, I've had quite a lot of jobs, I've tried quite a lot of ventures, most of which have failed. So I feel like I've seen quite a lot of the world, and it does help to, to broaden those horizons and expand your view of the world. So rather than, looking through the keyhole, you're looking through a wide lens, and that is something that I am, one part of my character that I've always been pretty happy with, that I'm open-minded. Open-mindedness is an appetite for learning as well. Learning and growth, and I love to learn, love to read about things. If there's something that intrigues me, I need to find out about it, and it just kind of expands your knowledge and your conscious of awareness as well, really. So high score for that. Now, perspective is the next one. This is the one that I changed the other day from respect. What have I written down here? I might need to tweak what I've written. I will always try to remember that my perception is just one out of billions, and it's not correct or fact-based. And I will try to offer good to the world around me by presenting different angles and perspectives, something like that. Probably need to change that a little bit. Perspective. That's quite a difficult one. Perspective, to talk about what perspective is. What is perception? What is reality? What is reality? That neither science nor philosophy can answer that question, or probably ever will. It's beyond the realm of human knowledge to be able to answer that question. And perspective is a view that we have on reality. And if we can't define reality, what can we define perspective as? It's how we see the world, perspective, isn't it? But it's very, very vague, obtuse term, really. Similar to, like, what is art? Can anybody define art? Some words and concepts that we have are impossible to define. But perspective maybe is the ability to be able to, be able to see a situation differently from how the majority see it, and view it and present it and talk about it from a different angle, perhaps. I think perspective as well is a lot about how emotionally we react to the external world around us, which is why I've given myself an 8. Maybe I should give myself lower than that, maybe a 7, because something that I know I do need to improve on, whilst I think I can see broader trends in the broader world and apply some perspective to it. I think sometimes the way that it can affect me personally, I can get things a little bit out of perspective, whatever perspective is. Perspective is a difficult one. Struggling to explain perspective. If anyone's got any views on what perspective and perception is, let me know. Self-care, a 3 out of 10 for this one. In order to have the biggest positive impact on the world as possible, I choose to show myself maximum respect and to be healthy and pure in mind, body and spirit. But I'm totally none of those things, to be honest with you. Never been any of those things. Pure in mind, body and spirit. Self-care is about, obviously, is about being healthy in mind, body and spirit, which relates to, do we want to grow and learn every day? Do we want to spend time doing the things that we know will help to nourish us and our souls? Our diet, what we actually put into our bodies, things like junk food and alcohol, which we know are bad for us, but choose to do anyway. I know I do. Exercise, interacting with nature. So a couple of elements there that I've just said I do, for example, interacting with nature, and I do quite a lot of reading and learning as well. But on the flip side, I can be lazy, can not push myself to, my diet can be a hell of a lot better. And I'll freely admit, I drink too much. Probably always drunk too much, or I have. So it is a 3 out of 10, and I feel like I'm aware of the theory behind being healthy. Being healthy is really simple. Not easy, it's really simple. It is eat well, exercise, get some sun and interact with nature. They're the basics really, but it's actually quite hard to do. But in not showing myself that self-care, probably not only letting myself down from that perspective, but also not offering value to those around me and to the world as a whole as well. So there is much work for me to be done in the realm of self-care, which is the realm of being healthy, and of course keeping in mind that the situation at the moment as well, where health seems to be a bit of an obsession now, albeit a very myopic obsession with one particular disease. But I think in showing self-care, we have a strong immune system by eating well, and by exercising, and by cutting down on pollutants such as alcohol, then we will be healthy and we'll have a strong immune system. So I have a lot of work to do in that area, so call myself out on that one. Responsibility, I've given myself a 6 out of 10. And what does this one say? This one says, only in owning all areas of my life will I be in a position to discover my purpose, derive fulfillment, and help those I am meant to serve. So 6 out of 10. And this, I've marked myself up on this from a few months ago, because whilst certain areas of my life I am not taking responsibility for, which are pretty much the health areas, I would say, primarily, and the discipline, which we'll come to, I am taking responsibility in showing courage and in being authentic, including doing this video. And being authentic does require bravery. So I'm braver than I thought I am, lazier than I know, still as lazy as I know as I already knew that I am, but I feel like in doing what I've been doing over the last few weeks with my Facebook page and YouTube channel, I am displaying taking an element of responsibility and delivering a message that I'd never forgive. But basically, I'd never forgive myself if I didn't get this message and this content out there. But other areas that I need to take responsibility for, which we've already discussed. So 6 out of 10 work to be done, definitely. Diplomacy. I understand that there is no fixed truth, only billions of perceptions of truth, and that it is my role to respect all perceptions in order to find altruistic outcomes. Diplomacy. The most diplomatic person I know is my girlfriend, Sarah. She's incredibly diplomatic. She really is. She's naturally a diplomat. I like to look upon myself as a diplomat. I'm not as diplomatic as Sarah. But I think it's so important for all of us to remember this, that you can be passionate about your beliefs, but it's so important to recognise that nobody's right and nobody's wrong, because truth is very difficult, if not impossible, to discern and to find and define. And I need to keep telling myself this as well. I've marked myself down a little bit for diplomacy simply because I feel that with what I believe in at the moment and the way I'm seeing the situation and how society is rapidly reorganising itself at the moment, in my opinion, for the worse, that this groupthink has set in and that it's not being critically challenged enough, and that my voice is being drowned out. I've got this bit of conflict going on regarding how can I get my message out there whilst being diplomatic still. Or do I need to more aggressively get it out there? Probably aggressive isn't the right word to use there, but more forceful maybe. So am I sacrificing some diplomacy at the moment? I certainly know that some conversations that I've had with people, some of those close to me as well, I did another video about this, about what are the dangers in being authentic. One of them is you risk being over opinionated, especially if you feel that you're not being heard. And I think I can be very opinionated. I don't know what being over opinionated would be, because ultimately, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but possibly maybe I'm too forceful in my opinion in some occasions, which maybe I need to mark myself down for the category of self-awareness, possibly as a result of that. Anyway, diplomacy is solutions should always be found diplomatically if possible. But I think that diplomacy is not a value that is widely admired in society today, unfortunately, as we become more and more tribalistic. It's important that I don't myself become tribalistic, and that I continue to see, or try to continue to see, all points of view where possible. So, and that's an interesting one, diplomacy. Balance, I've given myself a 3. Attaining and maintaining equilibrium in all areas of my life is key to me finding calmness, good health, a sense of belonging and deep meaning. Balance is all about equilibrium. I truly believe that those who have equilibrium are those who have an internal calmness and peace, spirituality. That doesn't come naturally, because the moment we're born, we are doomed to suffer in life. I think as you go through life, you realise that the suffering does have a learning outcome in it. It does have, that's where you derive ultimately the meaning that you have in your life. It is to a large extent through that suffering, because you learn so much. But you can go so far with the learning about yourself, and then you can go deeper, and then you can go really deep into the foundations of who you are, foundations of your being. And that journey is hard, lonely, and challenging, and only a very, very vanishingly few number of people, I think, in life do it. And it's hard, and you meet resistance at every turn. It's about pushing through those, that resistance when it arises. And I know that there's many occasions when I'm not doing that, hence that equilibrium I'm not yet finding in my life, and that balance. So it's a balance is all about, again, I talked about being healthy in mind, body and spirit. It's the same thing, really. It's a balance between doing the things that we enjoy, aligned with the things that serve ourselves and that nourish our soul, aligned with the things that serve other people, aligned with being healthy, aligned with interacting with nature, aligned with our kind of spiritual intentions, all these things. And that is a challenge. That's a massive challenge. Now, balance is actually my number 1 value. It's the most important to me. I've given myself a 3 out of 10, which demonstrates the work that I need to do. And ultimately, with all the other values, gratitude, self-awareness, open-minded, perspective, self-care, responsibility, diplomacy, discipline and forgiveness, which I'll come to, the higher the score in all of those, and there's a lot of work to do to get those scores to increase, then the more equilibrium, and hence the higher score I'll be able to give for balance. Discipline, again, a 3 out of 10. So these are all the low scoring ones now. I understand that identifying and eliminating bad habits and distractions And forming positive rituals is crucial in moving forward towards a life of happiness, success, and fulfillment. Discipline is key for me. It really is. And again, you say the most successful people, success is a hard word to define, because what is success? You could say that success is becoming in tune with who you are as a person, being fully authentic and spiritual, and being confident in who you are as a person. A lot takes discipline in order to be able to do that. Again, it's eliminating bad habits and forming good habits. It takes a lot of innate understanding of yourself in order to be able to do that. Allied to, I'm not even going to say willpower. Willpower will always fail, whether after 5 minutes or 5 weeks or 5 months, it will always fail. And this is something, this discipline aspect to life, for me, is a bit of a quandary at the moment, but it's something I'm aware of. But having pushed through the challenge of being authentic and being confident and facing the fear of bringing content out to an audience, albeit only very small, that is probably is divisive, to be honest with you. I've now got the confidence that I can face all the fears, and the fear of becoming disciplined entails pushing through a number of fears. For example, fear of failure, fear of procrastination. There's 2 straight away. So discipline, yes, I think that ranks quite highly as well in the top 10. And the last one is forgiveness, which I've given myself a 5 out of 10. And interestingly, when I did this exercise a few months ago, I gave myself a 8 out of 10. Now I've given myself a 5. I'm just checking I've got still time. Yeah, I have. So I know that in holding on to resentment and anger, I poison myself, and that in forgiving, I open up the space for new bountiful influences and experiences in my life. So I found out about myself in the last few months that I'm nowhere near as forgiving than I thought I originally was. Hence the score, relegated from an 8 to a 5. Holding on to resentment, that we harm nobody other than ourselves. Nobody other than ourselves. And I have discovered that I do still have some resentment. And again, realising that you have resentment in life is all part of being introspective and self-aware and discovering things about yourself that you don't like. And in doing this exercise, I've discovered quite a lot of things about myself that I don't like, and there are still many aspects to my character that I don't like. And one of them is that I could be more forgiving, and I need to be more forgiving to situations, individuals, things that have happened. We have a choice to either forgive fully or not. And in not forgiving fully, we hold on to that poison, in our beings, in our essence of who we are. So I'm glad I've recognised that about myself. Work to do there. And, going from least important to most important values. And these are just the top 10. There's a whole load of other values that I have that are important as well. But number 10, diplomacy, then self-awareness, gratitude, open-mindedness, self-care, forgiveness, discipline, responsibility, perspective, and balance, number 1. And top 3 strengths as well, just while we're doing this, for me, are top 3 strengths of characters that I have. And once I did this exercise and found out about them, they make complete sense to me because they do describe me. Curiosity, I am a curious person. Social intelligence, I think I am. I think I am socially aware, and I have an introspection about myself as well. And appreciation of beauty and excellence as well. Absolutely, that makes complete sense for me. And then finally, the areas, just to group together a whole load more values that I've ascertained and then put them into broader categories. And I found out that I am, at the moment, very authentic, altruistic and aware. But I have work to do in learning and growth, in showing gratitude, and certainly in the area of health. So really interesting exercises. I would recommend anybody to do work around personal values. It's a tough old journey and a challenge. And I'm sure there's going to be loads more stuff as I continue to do this that I learn about myself that I really don't like and I need to work on. Anyway, it was important that I did this video. Call myself out. See where I'm aligned and where I'm not aligned. See where I'm being hypocritical and contradictory. Okay, so I'm glad I'm glad I've done the video, and yeah, thanks again to Rob. Quite a long video this. Don't know whether anyone will watch it, but if you do, let me know what you think. All right then, and I'll speak to you all on the next video. Bye bye.